instill during times of change and storm. And so let's take a moment before we begin to ask those same questions about how do we navigate, where are we going, and where is that still speaking God calling us? And this day and this time is an opportunity for us to listen deeply and to communicate clearly and respectfully and compassionately with one another, and to discern with love these important questions for this faith community. Gracious God, thank you for being ever present within us and all around us. Guide us in this meeting. Guide us to be truly open and be present, and to celebrate the diversity of ideas and perspectives together collectively, because we are greater with more voices. Amen. So our agenda last year we decided we're going to meet at least twice a year because the budget gets so complicated. And so the purpose of this meeting in June is to focus mostly on looking at the current slate of officers and openings, look at the goals and accomplishes that we set forth last year, looking at what we accomplished, and then the bulk of it is going to be looking at the treasurer's report, having discussion, and then taking a vote, and then results and closing prayer, and then continuing that potluck. Is there anything else that anyone wants to add to this agenda? Okay, all right. Okay. Oh yeah, let me get the microphone. Can we have a mic person that can move around? Okay, Carolyn, thanks. There's the mic. It's on Zoom. Yeah, it's on Zoom. And it's being recorded, right, Lai? Yeah. Yep. Okay, Lysander.
At last year's meeting, and just before the meeting, I think it was the Strategic Action Committee met, and we had said we were going to talk about their report, and I don't think we've done that. Is that embedded somewhere?
It's not, but we'd love to hear more of their report. The strategic, I thought you were talking about Walter's team. Which team?
It's not Walter's team, it's the church's Strategic Action Committee that met, and I know they did a lot of work to present a report, and I think the report got presented to council.
Okay.
And council was going to do something with it, and I don't know if that has happened yet. I could have missed something.
I'm going to refer to our moderators.
I'm wondering if it's something that probably would fall in the October meeting. I'm not too aware of this
Okay.
strategic action meeting.
Okay.
Or meeting.
Well, I think council will take another look, but some of it involves more volunteers. Would be. I can.
They did a lot of work. I know Paula worked on it, Tony, Sean.
Anna Sackman, and yeah.
They did a lot of work, and their report should be.
Well, it could be shared with everybody. It wasn't anything that wasn't emailed out.
So thank you for bringing it up. That's why I asked. So why don't we do this? I can add the report to the members link on the website, and as soon as the congregation wants to get together to review it, that can be another meeting. We didn't plan it for today. I'm sorry.
I brought it up because I didn't know whether the council had done something and
No, we have not done anything, but we will and then slot it in the October meeting.
Prior to when you were moderator, we had reviewed it.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you.
Maybe we should share it, it sounds like maybe the council's review of it could be shared also.
Right.
Sort of what, if you have sort of changing, improving, or sort of put it on the back burner, or what, that, maybe that should also be brought up too.
Sure, and whether it's this summer or we wait until October, yeah, go ahead.
Being on the committee, I feel that it's something that really needs to be addressed. It's not about ministries, it's about the church and how we are formed,
Yeah.
who our members are, who votes. These are all things we really need to talk about.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't know what to say because
There's a
it
question
was,
back here?
I guess there are two basic things on strategic report. One is administrative stuff, like who votes and all of these things. And the other one is strategic, like for example, where is the church going? Where is the future of the church? So if the report is more about the first one, my opinion is that that could wait until later on. But if that report talked about strategic things, like given the situation with small churches, what is the future of the church? I think it would be nice to at least know what the questions or what the topics were today, so that we can think about them over the summer. At least to know if there are that sort of questions. That's it.
I can tell you some of the questions. It was a comparison of our profile from 2005 to today and changes. Go ahead, Cheryl.
No,
Unless you'd like to, I mean, or Paula. Okay, so it's looking at a then and now of what's changed in terms of our committees, in terms of our membership, in terms of our giving, in terms of our involvement in the various ministries. And then there was also a look at how do we change our bylaws, because the work of we have so few members, a lot of the work of the council has been tied up with looking at payroll protection loan grants and employee retention and the site protection plan, and then hiring lots of new staff. So, and then there were suggestions about all kinds of operational improvements and efficiencies. So we read it all, we took it really seriously, and then we just kind of kept on trying to get through COVID. So I can promise you that we'll share those results.
my question was not to divert the meeting. I was trying to see if it's up there. It's not up there, and this discussion should be moved to another time.
Okay, all right, thank you, Cheryl. Okay, all right. All right, so, okay, and Santho, feel free to jump in too. This is, can you read this? Yep. Okay, good, all right, so this is the 23-24, and our fiscal year begins July 1st, so it ends June 30th. So this is the beginning of the second year for this slate of council and office holders. So Santho is our moderator. She's a voting member, and she's new to council and offers a unique perspective. And the vice moderator position we need to fill because, of course, when the moderator's away, the vice moderator needs to fill in, and it's also a role that is a way to groom the new moderator. So Erin Price Pierce is our treasurer. She is a voting member. Catherine, once again, is the chair of the Green Team. Karen, by the way, is new. This was her first budgeting experience. So let's have extra empathy. This is a complicated organization to budget. Okay. Spiritual life, we're looking for, there's a lot of people that like to volunteer, but nobody wants to chair these groups, you know? I mean, there's people, like, I can look at a number of you that are involved with spiritual life, but it's like, oh, I don't like meetings and I don't want to chair. So there's an informal network, I know, yeah. Justice and Witness, we have a new chair, Jim Schubert, and the vision last year was about voting, trying to activate, making sure that voters that might get suppressed from the vote can vote. We're also continuing our work for interfaith justice in jails and affordable housing. And part of a subcommittee of that is this reparations committee that Nancy Taylor's chairing. So Carl Flasher is a new member of council at large, and that's a position where it's like finger on the pulse of the congregation, and also taking in information to try to like support the pastor as well. So care and concern, fellowship and membership, children, youth, and family. We used to have chairs. We have people who volunteer. I mean, a lot of you are in the room. Some of the people who volunteer aren't here. And with children, youth, and family, we used to have a position that was paid. Recording secretary, Becky Taylor was recording secretary for 4 months, and then she needed to step down. And Carolyn.
She was recording secretary the term before, though.
The term before, too. And then, that's right, yeah. And so then Carolyn Noble is doing minutes, but she's not recording secretary and non-voting. And then there's me. And then the other committees, financial secretary is Sheila Helms, doing it for, I've lost track of how many years you've been doing it. Huh? 10 years, oh my gosh. And then the same group of people you're going to notice are on personnel and also finance committees. It's the moderator and the treasurer and the pastor. So, and then preschool liaison, Carolyn had signed up, but now the preschool is meeting, the team meets at a time where she's not able to, so I've been liaison. And then Dave Byron's Philippia and I are pastoral relations. So that's our slate of officers. And I want to thank everyone for the work that's involved in the council. Yeah, Catherine.
Real quick, I just want everybody to know that our meetings are on Zoom. We're not meeting in person, so it makes it easier to be a part of the meeting in your home.
And anyone who wants to come, you're always invited. It's the church Zoom link, yeah. So I want these people to stand up, and I want to give a thanks to this team. Everybody stand up. Come on forward here. I have these tiny little gifts for you. They're tiny little succulents, because you might at times think this job is like a succulent. But if you look at them, they're really beautiful, and if you care for them and love them, they're so resilient and they become so beautiful. So each one of you can take the succulent of your choice. Okay, all right. Did you want to say anything else, Sento? Yeah, let me get you a mic.
Just to add to what Laurie said, this team has been incredible, and we've had a lot of meetings, and if you look at it seems to be the same people, and it's a repeat, so join us. It's on Zoom, volunteer, and let's all discuss. And I want to thank everybody for all the work and all the time we've put in, and I hope you understand how we came about what Karen is going to present. And if you have any questions, we'll try to answer them, or else I will just pack it for another time.
Not a question, but a comment. Since we're having trouble getting people to take leadership over some of the committees, why don't we um, open up some council position, at-large positions, so that we have more representation on the council?
That's a really, I've been talking with Arlington Church about the very same thing. I mean, yeah, and Paula's involved with that too. And what they're doing is, they said for about 10 years, they haven't had real ministry meetings. They've been involved, like our council, too much administration. But the ministries could meet separately, and then a representative who's an at-large member can be on council. Yeah. Yep. Okay, thank you. Okay, if you remember last year, our priorities, and everybody on council, please chime in. We were still in the midst of COVID, and we wanted to make sure that everything stayed safe. All of our church events, all of our weddings. We didn't want to be a super spreader site, and we certainly didn't want to have a pandemic breakout in the preschool. The second thing was our office manager had retired. 2 years ago, it was Nancy Montier. Then we hired John Hampton, who left after a year. So then we were faced with, we hired another office manager who stayed with us for 2 months. So we were, the office role was challenging. So we were looking at that situation.
Just comment that Monica Contreras has been here 1 year.
Yeah, she started in March. So this was last,
Just
yeah,
people
March, yeah.
should realize that
Yeah.
Monica is now over a year employed.
Yep. Yay, yep. So we also wanted to support Skyline in getting any more employee retention credits or payroll protection plan loans because we had more preschool staff and more cleaning because of COVID. So we wanted to do the right thing and hopefully to get that loan grant. And then to work with council on long-range planning goals. So how did we do? We stayed safe. We stayed open. Nobody got sick, at least not through us. Plenty of people got sick, but it wasn't a result of our safety issues. We managed change. There was a lot of change. Last year, we'd lost 4 preschool teachers. One was hired before this meeting. This year, we brought in 3 more. It's become very stable now. Monica, as Carolyn mentioned, has been with us since March, ramping up gradually. We've had other volunteers taking off some of the responsibilities of events because we're trying to improve that. Like Carolyn's been key in that, and Becky Taylor. We hired, after Carol Dutra left, remember Carol Dutra, about a year and a half ago? Sad to see her go. We hired Carol Cohen. Didn't work out. We hired Nicole Noga, who's still ramping up. But the promise is that we're going to be able to bring QuickBooks online and integrate our systems more, which will hopefully really improve our efficiency and reduce her hours and connect our banks and payroll and everything online. We're still being, we also hired our new music director, Adam. So it was a year of that. It was last year, July 2nd was his first week with us. So there's been a tremendous amount of new staff, a lot of change, a lot of assimilation. We're also still doing hybrid. COVID and Zoom has changed churches, and so a lot of our meetings are hybrid or exclusively Zoom, depending on the nature of them. We're doing continuous improvement on events. Carolyn could tell you a whole lot more than I could about it, but we have a platform that captures all the contracts and links in with our finances, so it's really improving what we had before, but it was a long startup. Operational effectiveness and efficiencies. We're still moving into using the full capabilities of Google Drive, and ADP, which is much better than Payality, the system we had before. I want to lift up unity within our diversity, especially when there's a lot of change, and there's a potential for conflict. And so I want to commend both how hard it is and how well we've worked through our differences. It's really hard, and it takes all of us and all of our perspectives together, and to give each other the benefit of the doubt that we're all doing the best we can in love. And I think co-creating a wider shared vision and mission for Skyline, some examples of that are, there's so many ministries that are happening with the preschool. I think about Catherine as an evangelist advocate for environment, teaching little children best practices about planting and about composting. We're doing the same thing with our weddings and all kinds of events. I think about, we've had some creative events with Oakland School for the Arts when $20,000 worth of musical instruments were stolen, and we let them have this place basically, very almost free, and we had volunteers helping to make that happen because it's the right thing to do. And with Kairos, it's another group, they're an arts music group. They came and performed in worship. They also wrote cards for children from East Oakland Community Project, and our preschool does things like that. So the ministry is like, it's all around. I mean, even today to see Cece, who I married, 15 years ago, the ministry is like bigger than just Sunday morning worship. So wider shared mission. I can also, in the fall, we'll talk about all the work that we're doing with justice. Okay. Let's see. Goals for 23-24, and your input into this is also really important. We talked about this as a council. We're still, developing and supporting the new staff, and hopefully we're not going to have the same kind of turnover that we had during COVID, either for the preschool or, for our bookkeeping administration. Co-creating a focused shared vision. I think Skyline could benefit from focus. I think we try to do so many things, and what that one thing is, maybe it's environment, maybe it's affordable housing, maybe it's just really fabulous worship, maybe it's, so, I think particularly in, anyway, those are assessment for long-term financial viability. We're looking at some, if it weren't for Kay and Ria's bequest, and if it weren't for the payroll protection loan grants, we would be over. So it's a time for us, it's this liminal time of looking at where's God calling us now. The national board that I'm on, the UCC, is looking at so many churches because one closes every, it's like, I'll have to double check the quote, but it was something like, in the Bay Association, 6 closed this year. There's a lot of closures. And so the purpose of this team is looking at how do we repurpose these assets for good use. One example, we worked with the Genesis Center. They had a huge fellowship hall, and now there are 12 formerly convicted felons, minor felonies, people who lived in Santa Rita jail who are now building their lives again, and they have affordable housing. So it's like doing that kind of work. So to think about this, our stewardship of this place, as well as us as a faith community, and where is God calling us? So, all right. Rebuilding the church, something I really want to do. I've talked with council about, I feel like with all of the change that's been going on, the ministries have really waned, and we really need to rebuild them. And I think we've gotten through COVID, so now is the time to start to rebuild.
Honestly, it's membership.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
Green Team, Justice and Witness
Yeah.
is not waning. I don't feel like those are really active and have a committed group of
I think
people.
what I mean, yeah, it's connected,
But-
having more people, yeah,
What we need is more members.
yeah.
And as opposed to when you say ministries, that seems to me as lofty. I think we need to be real specific,
Yeah,
personally. But
Yeah.
I'm just giving my opinion.
yeah, more engagement of current members and bringing in new members, yeah,
Music is alive and well, too.
yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you say ministries, you mean membership, right, Lori?
More members involved in the ministries. I think we have a nickname for a team that's called the Do Everything Team, and it's like the leaders of these teams wanting more members on their team, yeah, yeah. Okay. Anything else to add, anybody on council on these goals? Nancy?
Regarding accomplishments, I don't think that it was mentioned that major effort went into upgrading our events software system. That was a lot of energy and a lot of effort that has been a big help. So that happened this last year successfully. That's all.
Thanks.
Honey book.
Okay. Okay, Green Team, Catherine, come on up, because Green Team, and we're showing this because there's been a lot of capital improvements that we want, and it creates a better context for the budget.
Okay, let's just stand over here. So in the last year, we already had our solar collectors on our roof, but I just want to make a point of how great it's doing for us. And, you know, we're making a lot of electricity. And Michael can tell us, like, how many kilowatts, how many kilowatt hours, I don't know. You can watch it on a screen, what we make every day. But anyway, PG&E told us that we've saved this many pounds of CO2 emissions, which is equal to the emissions from 6 cars in a year, which I think is pretty great. But the real thing is, though, that eventually, I think Michael's going to talk about how we're going to get some heat pumps here in the other building, and our solar gives us all that extra electricity, so our costs for heating and cooling mainly heating will be lower eventually. So that's a positive thing. Other things here, the whole staff and volunteers had stop waste training. This year, we revised the emergency binder for Skyline with all kinds of new, guides for just any kind of emergency situation that could happen here with, during the day or week, during a service. So maybe we could make that available on the website.
Put it in the member section.
Yeah. This is the second year that we're doing a vegetable garden for the preschool with the kids, where they plant a seed and then plant it in the ground, and then they harvest the vegetables, and then we cook something from the vegetables. It's really fun. If anybody would like to be a part of that, I'd love to get a helper. You would? Really?
It is really
Okay.
fun.
Cool. Okay. Excellent. That's great. And we did the kitchen remodel last October. Michael put in a new electrical panel in the office building. The other one was really corroded, I guess. Really old. And there's another slide. There's a second page. We have a new lamp post, new wiring for that. Lamp post got stolen from the church property. It's strange. Big metal thing, Our second piano got donated to Castlemont, which was really nice, and they so appreciated it. They were so happy because really had nothing for they have a big auditorium. We worked with Robert Hernandez to just help in further enrollment in the preschool by having the capacity to change diapers. So new changing tables and sinks. And then Josh Manley has been working for us, hired this summer. He put in a butterfly garden for the preschool. It's very, very really well made. And we're putting a little paver area down in front of the church. You could take a look at it. And it's just kind of to help reduce the weeds that grow down there and the soil falling down, and also a little walkway for people. So it's going to make it look better there. And next slide. Yeah.
This particular point about adding the changing tables dramatically shifted enrollment, which was so important, and it's an ongoing dynamic because there's more and more universal free preschool opening up. So it makes, Karen will get into this with the finances, but it makes it more challenging to try to predict the future. Thanks.
So in the next year, I know this has been on the list for quite a while now, but the ADA bathroom looks like it can be completed in this next year. We have a plan, we have we're waiting for permits, and it should go forward pretty soon. And that includes putting a new railing around the preschool stairs because the railing we have now is out of compliance with safety rules. And adding 3 heat pumps and a new high-efficiency furnace to the office and friendship room building. And just if you're not too clear on what a heat pump does, it both provides heat and cooling. And since we have so much surplus electricity, and these things are all electric, that'll be great. And we're still working on a proposal for ventilation for hot days in here in the sanctuary. That's it. Any?
So I really appreciate Catherine's leadership and Green Team. And I've learned so much about compostable waste. Did you know the Chinette plates that all the grocery stores sell, they look like they would be recyclable, or no, compostable. They're like paper. No, they've got a chemical in it that clogs up the machines at the composting. Catherine's leadership now means we have a really clear message to any events that you have to buy your compostable materials directly from Skyline at cost. And Catherine has been managing all the orders. And I learned a new fact from Lori. She said when Lee Rudder was doing weddings, we had like 4 receptions a year. Almost every other wedding is a wedding and reception in the courtyard. And they're renting tents, they're renting tables and chairs and umbrellas. But if they don't use the ceramic plates that a lot of caterers offer, they have to use the compostables from our inventory. And it makes it super easy because you can tell all the families everything goes in compost. You don't have to worry about sorting it. The forks go in compost. The wine glasses go in compost. I think that clear message to anybody that's having events makes it a lot easier on the who's ever hosting. And it's been a lot of different people hosting, some volunteering. Melissa hosts, she's a contractor. Becky Taylor's been hosting, Lori's been hosting. So I just think having that clear message for all the anybody that wants to rent the space. Makes it so much easier on everybody. So, thanks, Catherine.
All right, let's see, where are we now? Oh, now it's the fun time. Here you go. I can just put it here. Let's make sure. It's not omnidirectional, so you kind of have to talk into it. Do you need this? No, it's okay. But I need to point this. Can you hear me? Is okay? There you go. Is that better? Better? Okay. Okay. Anyway, what I did is, you've got this in front of you, and what I tried to do was extract from our budget, which is what you're seeing on the printed copy, and give us some highlights, and then we can discuss any other details following what I've got up here. So these are our assets. This is what we have in our accounts. I know, but I want to point. How do you take it out? All right. Okay. So this is basically our accounts: banks, money market funds, Cornerstone Fund. What's also included in here is the reparations money, which is part of the Cornerstone. So that's $200,000. So our total bank accounts right now are $925,830, which sounds great. Sounds like a sizable amount. But we'll need to look at the budget and see how long that's going to keep us going. So any specific questions on what we have in the bank right now? Yeah, go ahead, Nancy. Okay. Okay. Come here. Just quickly. That's fine. That's fine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Just, I was thinking about this too, just to point out that that is all the church's money except for the one that says preschool money market, which is 38,000, let's say 38,500. The third one down, yeah. Yeah, just to keep that in mind too. That's really not the church's money. And then the 200,000 is not spendable.
Okay.
And real quick, I do want to check, because the preschool raises money for scholarships. So just, for example, the monthly tuition is $2,000. And a parent gets laid off, and so they say, we'll give you a scholarship, so we'll only charge you $1,500 while you're looking for a new job. And I just think that some of that money from the preschool fundraisers should be transferred back. And I'm not sure that anybody's on scholarship right now, but I think we should take kind of take a look, because now that we're, as people can see in the budget, we have to be a lot more conscious of this. In the past, it didn't really matter, but I don't know how that money for the preschool fundraisers for the scholarship fund is getting back to compensate us, because the parents, it's great that we're able to offer, families that have, Catherine has commented.
Yeah.
I know that the recent fundraiser, though, they did spend some of that money to buy new materials for the preschool, like these big water play tables.
Yeah.
So they're using it in other ways too. And so I thought it was their money for them to use, but
When they have their fundraisers, I've been to a couple, I wasn't able to go to the last one, but when they have their fundraisers, they say it's for the playground fund, enrichment, and for scholarships. So I just think it's something we actually now need to look at. We never looked at it before.
Yeah. There's another, historically, we've also kept 2 months of salary for the preschool on reserve.
That's not in the preschool money
Yeah, that would be
market
part
fund.
of this.
Okay.
That's in our bank account. That would be in our bank account, yeah.
Yeah, what we're looking at is a 38,000 up there that's, Nancy was mentioning
And
that's,
we never paid attention in the past, to be honest, I don't think. So it's just something to be aware of, and we can check and see about that. Yeah.
look at auditing that.
Just
going forward.
something to take a closer look at. Yeah. I just actually thought of it in the last week, so
Yeah.
I didn't think about it in the past.
It's worth looking at, yeah, okay. We'll take
Okay.
that. I guess we don't have to take notes, we're recording,
Okay.
so. Okay, next one. Okay, this is kind of where we are. So, we're going to go into the details of the budget, but it comes to about $1 million for this next coming year. And revenue's going to hit about 731,000, which is going to put us in a deficit of 318,000. And you asked the question, where that money going to come from? Right now, it looks like it's coming from the slide before, the accounts that
balance
we
sheet,
have,
yeah.
the 900,000 that we've got in there now. Things could change over the year, but that's what we're budgeting for right now. I listed 2 of the major capital projects that are already underway, already approved, rolling over from this previous year. So we've got the ADA bathrooms and railings and the heat pumps. And Catherine, I hope I got the numbers right there, but okay. It is actually, yeah.
Well,
Talk about
we can-
taking it out, yeah.
We can show the next
We'll
slide.
show that,
to
we'll
explain
show
it.
that, yeah. This is the budget. This is the budget. This is where we might end up. So, okay.
Okay.
And then the question came up, where is the money, where is our budget allocated? So primarily it's in payroll, that's preschool and administrative, minister salaries, 74% of it. Property expenses, 14%. Administrative is 4%. Preschool, 30%. Ministry programs, 2%. Rental expenses, 3% and 2%. If you look in the handout, you can see subtotals here, and you'll see payroll, you'll see the property, administration, preschool. You should have a summary based on your sheets here to get the details. And then I've also got some summaries we can look at going forward. Any questions on this? Okay. Okay, again, what I just said, I took the summary total line off of our budget here, proposed budget, looked at where we were from our last year's budget, what we actually did, the delta, and then our proposed budget for this next coming year on the far side. So, okay, for ministry revenues, those are basically our member contributions, offerings. We budgeted for 84,800. We actually came in at 66,000. So we were short about 18,000. So we've decided for this year we're going to be a little more conservative, and we did the proposed budget at 50,600. And again, that's offerings, direct offerings from the congregation. Preschool revenues, last year we were conservative because of COVID, because of not being fully enrolled. We estimated 610,000. Actually came in better than that, came in at 681. So we were 71,000 over, which is great. We're still going to be somewhat conservative. We're not sure what's going on with the enrollment. As Lori said, there's a lot of free preschool offerings now with the state, so we don't know how that's going to impact our membership or our enrollment. So we're estimating 640,000 in terms of revenue. Building rentals, weddings, oh, excuse me. Did it say 680? Okay, we can make that, we can correct that. We make a note of that. I have 640 here. Well, let's make a note of it and go back and check to see if it's either this one or that one that needs to be changed.
I do too. I think we talked about, yeah, I can just change the slide. Yeah, yeah, yep. Anyway.
Don't worry. In the preschool tuition.
Yep. Okay,
Okay,
all right.
thanks.
You're welcome. Okay.
Okay, building rentals, that means weddings, other events. We had hoped for 47,668 in the budget. We only got 30,000, so we were a little bit short this year in terms of wedding rentals. So we've put the budget estimate at 24,000. Other revenue is just the interest in the banks, the CDs. We're doing a little bit better this year. We had approved budget of 13,000. We got actual 14,000, and then interest rates are a little bit better this year. We've moved some money around to get some higher rates in some CDs. So we're estimating 16,900.
Got it.
Oops.
How many things to look at? I have to get this out of this way and show 1 second. Okay, 771. Thank you, Nancy. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Now that was revenue. This is expenses. Okay, as we said, salaries is probably our highest in terms of expenses. We had 519,000 budgeted. We came in at 421. The delta was 98,000. A lot of that was because of preschool not being, we had a lot of teachers that had left, had to be replaced, and we had a lot of substitute teachers this last year. So in terms of just strictly looking at salaries, it looks lower. Other payroll expenses would be like Social Security, health plans, payroll, and this is where the substitute teachers comes in. We planned for 199. We actually came in at 238, which is 39,000 over, and that's primarily the substitute teachers that we had to hire. So we've budgeted for 250,000, 168 for this next year. Rental expenses, 22,000 was budgeted, 25,000 we came in as actual, a little bit extra for, Laura, I think it was cleaning, that was costing more on this.
And Honeybook.
In the honeybook setup, correct. Yeah. So we're budgeting about 18,000 for this next year. Ministry programs, music, guest preachers, was 20, we budgeted 21,000, only used 11,000. We were 9,000 that we didn't spend. We're up to 26,000 for this year because Lori will be on sabbatical this year. And I think that also allows a little extra for additional guest speakers or preachers if we need to in the rest of the year, this following year. Preschool programs, things like food, materials, advertising. We had budgeted for 29,800. We actually came in at 24,000. I believe they were trying to be conservative this year, trying to save. But we put in 30,000 for the budget for this next year. Any question on those? Okay. Okay, this is just continuation. Administrative, things like accounting, office supplies. Approved budget was 32,000, we actually used 33,000, not bad. We're proposing 36,000 for the coming year. And then maintenance, repairs, building, Catherine, I'm trying to think, did we take this, it was 91,000, that takes out the ADA,
We
the
deferred,
capital.
yeah, they
the
were
capital.
deferred.
Well, 91,000 was the budget, and then we only used, if we don't include the capital, it's 34,000. Is that correct? 34? Okay. Okay. Yeah. But what we're budgeting for this year is 152,000, and what I'm questioning now, since it's the other figure, does that include the ADA bathrooms?
And the heat pumps.
And the pumps, yeah, okay. That does include that.
Yep.
Okay. We did. Assets, it's going to come out of the, yeah. Yeah,
Right. Okay.
so that's why our net operating revenue comes to be a negative 318,000, which includes the capital. What was that? Oh, that's true. It will change it somewhat. Because we budgeted, I mean, our revenue, we're budgeting for more, so that still be a little bit lower. From 40 to 80, 40,000 different?
Yeah.
Yeah. Still a hefty negative, but that's our situation right now, if we approve the budget as it's stated. So, is there another, I'm not sure if there's another slide.
The good news was we had budgeted a huge loss this year, but it's basically being pushed out to next year. We ended up with it's like 40,000 profit.
Yeah, because of, yeah,
It's not on there, okay.
I don't think I have that in there.
Okay. All right.
Okay, any other questions, or any questions on the sheets that you've received? Or you might have looked at it online? Yeah. That's okay, go ahead. I'm closer.
I just had one question about the ministry revenue, I guess the offerings. And you have 50,000, I think, that's 4,100. And you said this year so far we've done 66,000. So I'm wondering, should we cut that back, or should it at least? No, I mean, no. I'm
Add
wondering
more to it.
why did we
Yeah.
cut it back?
Yeah. Yeah.
My question is, why is that reduced from 66?
Why are we so conservative with that?
Yeah. I don't know what the.
Oh,
Yeah.
because it's lower than what we actually got.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Why
why.
is, I mean, but why
Is
should
it lower?
be?
Lower than what we actually got this year, and the question is,
Yeah.
why are we, lowering it again?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so here's one thing we
well,
looked at. There was a question about trends. 3 years ago, we received 80,000, then it was, let me see if I can remember, 74 or something, and then it's been 66. So we're wondering, is this an ongoing trend, or is this just an anomaly during COVID?
Well, I think COVID stabilized.
So, yeah, we could,
Well, the
yeah,
other
we
thing is
could,
that
we could
contract-
add more. I
just
mean, that
think
was
that-
the
yeah,
council's,
Yeah, I mean, I would think that there would be a charge for us to at least to match. I mean, the congregation to at least have the charge.
Said maybe we were,
Yeah, but I understand. Yeah, I understand. But I understand the trend. I mean, you're right. We don't want to. If the trend
Tony?
has been such, we don't want to find ourselves in a bind because the trend is overwhelming. But maybe the church should, buck the trend if we can.
I think we were conservative because of the decline in membership.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's why we dropped it. So if we under budget and then we over contribute, that will be a good thing than to say we're going to get 75 and then it ends up being 50. Sometimes when it comes to revenue, it's better to be slightly conservative, especially since we are non-profit. When you're in the bigger field out there, you want to be You want to state false numbers to look good.
Let's meet that number, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Cynthia just said
It's a
our
small percentage, the big thing is the preschool.
And I'll take it.
Oh, okay, thanks.
I'll let you handle the microphone.
Cynthia just said our membership was declining. Did we have a decline in membership over the last year?
Over several years. Now I've got two.
Yeah. I can't say specifically if we had a reduce in
So I can
membership
tell
over the
you-
last year.
I can tell you.
Thank you.
So Sean was a member of council, and he's moved on. Anna Sockman was pretty involved, and part of it you could say, well, Sean now lives in Richmond, and Anna lives in Berkeley, but yeah, we've lost members.
Yeah, and Steve and I might be living in Africa this
Yeah.
coming year.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
all of that.
We should have some information on our membership at our fall meeting.
We've got a little bit of questions, right?
Great recommendation. Does somebody want to take ownership of determining the membership number? Okay, so Cheryl is volunteering to review the congregation and the membership numbers. Okay, the trend. Okay. No trend. Okay, so assess the current number of members.
I think you've got that in the questions and answers.
No,
don't, but.
I have, the Q&A only had the member offerings. Only had church offerings over the last, and so that could be loose offerings too, right? And
It's true.
Yeah.
Could be loose.
So the question is how many members? And Cheryl's going to help us answer that, I think.
Yeah, okay.
I just want to acknowledge that we have people here who are regularly coming, regularly contributing, not officially members, which I don't have a problem with, but those people need to be included too, I think.
So toward that point, this question came up last year because we were talking about, well, who gets to vote and what's a quorum? So I had talked with our conference minister last year about this, and I said, we have, think about Katie and think about Carl and Jim Schubert. We have, on our council, we have 3 people who are serving who are not members but contribute time, talent, and treasure. So I asked Diane, what do you think? And she said, I would be really interested in those people and encourage them to lead. And I'd also be curious about why they don't want to become members and just listen. Yeah, so.
Did we want to go over the questions from the congregation, or are we going to just leave that in the end?
Let's hear other questions and then we can, yeah.
The budget, I'm sorry, the
Mike, we need a mic.
expenses in the slide, they were 731, and in here they are 771. I just want to know which is the real number.
That's the 40,000. I think we decided there was a difference in the, what did we just include? Yeah, the preschool revenue.
I'm sorry, revenue is what I mean. The
So-
revenue in the slide was total revenue, 731, and here is 771. I really would like to
That
know what
adds
the
the
real
40.
number
That's
is.
the 40,000
The 40,
difference that we
yeah.
discovered.
It should be 680 for the preschool instead of
Yes.
640.
Right.
So the
I had
budget report
640.
accurate,
So
Yeah.
this is correct, 771?
This one,
Yeah.
this one. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good to clarify. We're going to vote on these.
the
numbers.
680, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What I did was just try to extract from here, and I was probably looking at a different version.
Yeah, yeah, easy for that to happen.
Right.
Other questions?
Okay.
So, Where is Carolyn? Do you want to answer some of the other questions?
They're all in the Q&A. Everybody received a copy. So if you have any questions about the Q&A,
Oh, you've got a copy, yes. Okay,
uh,
yeah, you've got a copy
know,
here. These are the questions that came
we
in
met-
from the congregation?
So once again, the team, I wasn't in all the budget meetings, but there was one yesterday at 9 a.m. Santho, Karen, Lori, and I sat down and went through the kind of final. I offered to put together the Q&A that from the members submitted questions. And if there's any questions about the responses to the members submitted questions, please let us know. Everybody should have a copy of the Q&A doc. That's new. I don't think we've had that in the past.
Right.
But I don't need to go over the answers because that's should be in part of your consideration and review. And Santho.
What I just want to state is, before we vote or we request a vote, to be aware that these are estimations that we made. And look, last year, we estimated that we're going to spend 1,013,000, and we only spent 752. So when you do a budget, these are just your best guesses that you're making. I think this is what I'm going to do. It may not happen. So don't be scared of the numbers. We would watch them as volunteers closely and let the church know. We thought we were going to overspend by 261,000.
This is what we're estimating, that year end, it's going to be profitable, 40,000, and the budget was that we would lose 258,000. I remember Tom Manley saying,
Yeah.
the bad news, it's going to be, we were lucky before
Yeah,
with
and it
the
didn't
quest.
happen. We underspent. You can always carry forward some expenses, say, oh, we're not in a good position, or maybe the timing, like the city of Oakland is not approving things, like Michael and Catherine worked so hard for this ADA, and the documents are stuck with the city approving, so we had to push the ADA and the heating pumps to the next year. Okay? And I want to thank you all, and I want to thank Nancy for the PPP loans. I want to thank Michael and Kathy and Carolyn, who was the ex-moderator, but she has just
Continues on.
She continues on.
Tom for helping with the budget this year, really, with our several calls and questions.
And then come election time,
Karen.
Jim Schubert and Nancy and others, they were just so active in sending out all these letters reminding people in Texas or the southern Arizona to vote. They were very, very active, and please, 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 if you have time, join us instead of the same people participating in so many, many communities. Help us out. Thank you all very much. And
One more person to thank.
one more.
I also want to thank Kay and Rhea, because this is literally like manna from heaven.
Yep.
Their bequest came to us 2 weeks after COVID. I mean, it's just incredible how, so we're in a period of grace and discernment about our future.
Yep. That's nice, thank you.
Okay, thank you all. And,
So-
and Paula talked me into being moderator.
You didn't have any help when Paula comes. It's like, how do you say
She
no?
tricked me. Thank you all very much for your time.
So now we're going to vote, though. We're not done. We have to vote. Okay.
I just wanted to
Oh,
say
okay.
my
All
thanks
right,
first
okay.
before they
All
say
right.
no or yes.
All right, so I have these slips. So quorum is 40% of members. Just a review of what we did last year. So we approved non-members voting. So it's yes, no, or abstain, unless somebody wants to make an amendment about the budget. Everybody's really quiet. Everybody wants to go home. All right, yeah, all right, okay, all right. We could do a show of hands, or you can fill out if you want a private. And I want to see if anybody's on, I can hand out some pens too. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Okay. There you go. More of them. You don't need to vote twice. Okay. Okay, here's, right, here you go, more. There you go. Just give one to Steve. Steve. We have pen, who needs a pen? Okay, hold on, hold on. Got pens right here. Here you go. I don't vote.
No, do you have enough?
Pens? Yeah, slips, I think so, yeah. Pen, who needs a pen? Pen, pen, pen. The people in the back row. Okay, okay, you'll share, okay, you'll share. All right. Who else needs a pen? Sheila. The secret ballots. Okay, let me get the offering tray. Oh, Tony's passing the basket, good.
You found one? There you go. These are all full, all the baskets.
Oh, Tony's got a basket. Effective July 1st, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Your corner is over there.
On the budget, yeah, that's this side.
Thanks for all your
Oh,
comments,
sure.
yeah. Oh, my God. Yep.
Good job.
I'll let our, and our treasurer, because you're the two counting people, okay? And then. They're counting, okay. But don't let them announce, Cynthia, you announce.
Okay.
And then invite everybody to come forward to get their little succulent.
Oh, how many do you have?
I have
A lot?
plenty.
Oh, good. I hope I don't kill mine.
Yeah, immediately. They've been looking, yeah, I'll be anxious to see what they got.
I'd like to make a motion that we add another council at-large position to the council, and I'd recommend B. Franks Walker for that position. B. Franks Walker.
I second.
A motion's on the floor, you gotta vote.
We need to vote.
Do we have to add it on a piece of paper? Can we do a show of hands?
Just
Okay,
raise hands.
show of hands. All right. Thanks, B. Thank you. Drum roll. Okay, ready to vote. Okay, here it is.
The final count, The final count is 19 yes and one questionable.
Abstain.
Abstain. One abstained and 19 yes. Thank you all very much for your time. Yay!
So before we leave, anyone besides me want to lead a closing prayer about Yvonne?
Comment more than anything, or maybe food for thought, or a proposal or something like that. I just heard a motion being made. I didn't know that we were making motions or something, but just hearing things like about membership that I think Caroline mentioned. Having more members would be a good answer to things, right? I don't know if we're talking about more members per committee or more members as a whole. I don't know what Caroline was talking about. Both, right? Yes. So, okay. All right. Yeah. So, if we think of just members as a whole, in other words, the possibility of more customers as a way to improve the future of the church, looking at what the proportions are of the contributors for revenue and so on, when Chris Roder presented the budget, I don't know, 3 years ago, something like that, the percentage coming from the preschool was 80%. Today, the percentage is 88% for the new budget, and the possibility of getting new members, in my humble opinion, the reality and the history and the fact that we don't really have a marketing organization or something like that, is that the line of revenue for members is probably not going to go that much higher than the 50,000 there. So all that I'm driving at is the question of revenue that is so crucial, that things like rentals are, again, peanuts. Everything is peanuts relative to the school, but the peanuts don't need to be peanuts. Peanuts. Oh, sorry, maybe I'm being... I'm sorry. I could be... I could be... this happens... The same, minuscule. The same thing happened when I was trying to... when I was in engineering, in electrical engineering, I was trying to talk about an erratic signal, that was all over the place, but people thought that I was talking about an erotic signal, E-R-O. So there's a little bit of a problem there. Okay, so what I'm saying is that these peanuts that today are being essentially handled by Melissa, I understand, and essentially, we have the business of other revenue besides the preschool. Is just one of 3 jobs that this lady Melissa has. What's wrong with that picture? I mean, we look at this facility that we have, and that all that we are getting is this, I don't know, is it $24,000 or something? Just because it's all coming from this third of the time lady Melissa. I mean, what's with that picture? Come on. So, I'm saying increased rental revenue could be one, but if we think of that as a separate focus than just events or something like that, or using the term ministry, right? There could be a totally different, totally focused ministry, which is revenue, like in a business, a chief revenue officer, which is not about taking phone calls of who's interested in a wedding or something like that. What a revenue officer does, um, I would say that that would be somebody that doesn't have to be a real expense to the church, somebody that could be paid on simple revenue, but a real officer. What does a real officer do? I mean, somebody that even could be retired or something like that, that they would take the task of taking a proactive business development effort for the church. We have this facility. Um, who are the likely users of this facility? Corporations that have to have interesting retreats and or non-profits or whatever. But that takes a plan, you know, when you are tasked with revenue, you're a salesperson or something like that, you have to figure out what are all the possible ways where revenue could be coming from. It's a focused type of job, and in addition to rentals, there could be partnerships with artists and media organizations. In other words, there are all kinds of ways that revenue streams could be identified and created if an opportunity is given to a person. Don't call it a business manager, because that person is not managing any business. It's somebody who is tasked with raising revenue. I mean, if today we're doing 24,000, but if you really go out and use this place at capacity, I think you could go way beyond that. So we are, since Lori is going to be away for 3 months, and probably I won't be able to show up here too much, I would love for the council to start thinking about such an officer, such a position. And don't think of it as an expense. Think of bringing somebody who is the agent for the church. Just think of it as an agent. I don't know that that is really used by churches too much, but why not? If this place slowly is losing its income and is questioning its existence, I think this is the time to start thinking of really being proactive and having Jack or revenue officer or director of business development or something like that. That's the food for thought. Thanks.
I'll make a note for council to, the position is, do you have a job description? Okay. And it's revenue officer? Or business, what? Revenue officer. It's a thought, something to,
Yep. Yep.
I mean, I'll make a note for the minutes.
Yeah. The other thing I'm going to include in next week's MailChimp, or maybe I'll put it into the member section, and I shared this with the council, is a series of articles about trends within a lot of progressive faith communities. So for us to have some more perspective, you know, this place is a really beautiful retreat center, and there is more that we can, I mean, it's sort of, when I talk with colleagues about this place, that's what they say, the whole campus. And so maybe there are ways that we can be really innovative beyond just weddings and memorials, and also be smart, because we're a 501c3, so we have to be careful about nonprofits and justice and arts. And so to be continued. Thank you, everyone, for the collective wise thinking and the good, deep listening. So you're so welcome, everyone. Yeah, yeah. Hey, there's some extra succulents left if anybody wants to. Michael, you should get one.